How's it going, everyone? Welcome to day 2 of this test between New Zealand and the West Indies in the final round of the Twisty Test Championship, where everything matters. Every single game will determine, I guess, who is going to progress through to the next round. It is going to make for a very intriguing final few weeks. Let's just have a quick look here at the standings again, reminding you how important this game is for the West Indies. They need to win it to be able to jump inside that top 2 against New Zealand, who basically, they have already qualified. They don't need to do a heap here, and they got out of trouble yesterday thanks to Ross Taylor, who's continuing in the same vein of form that he was going with yesterday on 138 now from 236 deliveries. Tim Southey's joining him at the crease, and Neil Wagner was the other one who had a really big partnership with Ross Taylor that allowed New Zealand to get out of trouble. They were 7 for 120 at one point, and this is in the air, and this will be the end of Ross Taylor, as they've now, pushed on for a couple of really big partnerships. And Ross Taylor being the main man there, just an inside edge onto his thigh. And the keeper was, up to the task of being able to get it. But huge innings from Ross Taylor there, 141. Gives New Zealand a real opportunity in this game after you thought they were going to get rolled for, under 150. All of a sudden, they're now close to 300 and could possibly still get there. But there's an edge from Bolt. That'll be the end of the New Zealand first innings. So all out for 276 New Zealand. Ross Taylor, of course, was the standout for them. Cornwall got 3 for the West Indies. He was the leading wicket taker for the innings. Warwick with a couple, Chase with a couple, and Holder with one, and I think there was a couple of run-outs there as well. But it was all about Ross Taylor in that opening innings, and now it's all about the West Indies. How are they going to respond here? They elected to win when they won the toss, they chose to bowl first. They would have thought that they were going to be, bowling. So big, I guess, opportunity for the West Indies now that they're in their home conditions. Can they perform with the bat after, starting really well with the ball and then having a disappointing sort of last session yesterday, which really sort of let New Zealand back into the game. They would have loved to be in, quite a strong position. They would have loved to still be batting from this point at the moment and batting from, a long way back yesterday after they started so well with 7 wickets in the opening 2 sessions. And it wasn't really, to be from there. So still a lot of work for them to do with bat in hand. We know they've got a couple of the top run scorers for the tournament, as this is close to a run out. We've already seen a couple of run outs in the New Zealand innings, and we're about to see one in the West Indies innings. Where do the Zing Bales light up? Yep, that'll be out. And that, I think, is Brathwaite, if I am not mistaken. Yes, it is. Yes, we know he's got a big couple of hundreds to his name throughout this tournament. I think he's the leading run scorer of Group B. It brings Shea Hope to the middle as West Indies now 13 for 1. Still 260 behind in this match as there's an edge, and oh, what a catch it was indeed. An absolute ripping one from Tom Blundell. Love it. Look at that. Outside edge all the way. Bam. Caught. That's huge for New Zealand. A big confidence boosting wicket. West Indies have lost 2. It's actually Henry Nichols. I thought it was Tommy Blundell. But anyway, 17 for 2, the West Indies. Now pulled away here through mid-wicket from Brooks, who now has Campbell, I guess, with him out in the middle. He's the opener, right, Campbell? It's like he's always been there. But yeah, who's gonna really stand up for the West Indies now? They've lost Brathwaite, they've lost Hope. Brathwaite obviously being one of the big run scorers for them through this tournament. They'll need someone else. I think they've still got Holder to come. A couple of other guys who can, score big. So plenty of work for the West Indies to do. New Zealand want to keep on the front foot, keep aggressive, keep getting wickets as quickly as possible. The 50 up now for the West Indies, and they've batted at an actually pretty quick rate compared to the Kiwis. They're now over 3 per over with this boundary here. 64 for 2 after 21 overs. And that will bring us to the end of the session. I think it's the end of the, second session? First session of play. Reminder, this is a day-night test. I'm not sure if I pointed that out yesterday, but it is a day-night test. It is a pink baller. This partnership now worth 47 runs here between Campbell and Brooks as they started to get a bit of confidence back into the West Indies lineup. They know they've got plenty of options with the bat. They've batted out a draw already in this tournament. Their only real poor performance was the first game against the Sri Lankan side, where they were really unable to stamp their authority with the bat. They just were unable to really press on and build those partnerships that we see as so vital to creating a good first innings total. And right now it looks like these two are at least setting the building blocks for what could be, a very good partnership. They've got that New Zealand lead below 200 now. And they'll want to press on. Oh, bang, wicket. Just had a bit of a hiccup there for a moment, and it's a hiccup for the Kiwis as well, for the West Indies as well. The off stump out of the ground. Mitchell Santner gets his first. Just cut over the ball, I think, there, did John Campbell. So the other West Indies opener will depart. 82 for 3. And now Hetmeyer is in. Santner looking obviously get another wicket, but just a minor setback for the West Indies. They wouldn't hope it's a major one. If they were to lose a couple more quickly, things could, well, once again turn against them. Hetmeyer finds the boundary once again. 100 up now for the West Indies. There hasn't been a lot of boundaries here, so I feel like I've just skimmed through a lot of this session here with singles and twos, because they're really just pressing forward at the moment, as this will be 3 more runs, possibly a 4th, given this is tapped back. And they run 4 here. They want it, and they got it. Good running between the wickets there from Hetmeyer and Brooks. Oh, bang again. Jeez, I didn't even realise that was going to be a wicket, so I went quiet because I was waiting for the shot, but geez, it's a ripping delivery that's just turned a long way from Santner. Haven't seen the best of Mitch Santner in this series, but that is a very good delivery. It's the end of Shamar Brooks, out for 41. Roston Chase now joins Hetmeyer out there in the middle. The West Indies 107 for 4. So they're starting to lose a few wickets quickly here. New Zealand obviously were in a pretty similar position. Oh, that's very close. Has it knocked him over? No, it's given. Gee, I thought that was absolutely like crashing into the stumps. But looks like it smashed him on the pad. I wonder if we'll see this one sent upstairs. It looked very, very plumb, I must say. So, interesting decision to review. Pitching in line, impact in line. Wickets hitting. A poor review by the West Indies there. It's going to see their 5th wicket depart. New Zealand, all of a sudden, are on top in this game. For the first time, you can say New Zealand are on top. The West Indies, 109 for 5. Bolt gets another one. For the Kiwis, it's Dowrich and Hetmeyer who now have a big task ahead of them. The West Indies 5 down. They still need another 167 runs to get back in this game, or at least to get themselves that first innings lead. Wouldn't want to go in with too big a deficit for the second innings, because the Kiwis could then just pile on the runs. And we know that the West Indies, they can't even afford to draw this match. They have to go on and win it. That's exactly what they have to do in order to qualify. They looked like one of the best sides in this group, but they just, have had a couple of results not go their way. They competed very well against South Africa for a draw. They competed very well against Sri Lanka, but it was a really poor, I think, second innings batting performance that cost them the game. And obviously against Afghanistan, they made a meal of it, winning by over an innings. So it's been, I guess, an indifferent sort of series for the West Indies, but I have felt from a viewer perspective that they've been one of the more impressive sides in this Test Championship, and I think a lot of you guys will agree with that. Mostly, I guess, due probably to that Afghanistan performance, as we see this one cut away to the boundary again for another boundary, and that is a 50 for Shimron Hetmeyer. 51 there, 8 boundaries, striking at 81. Pretty good strike rate there as we see the end of the second session of play here. We'll have the dinner break. West Indies 168 for 5. Hetmeyer on 57, Dowrich on 12. not out from a similar number of deliveries. Hasn't batted super quick. There's an edge. That'll be 4. I feel like I'm talking at extra fast speed. So anyone who watches this in faster than like 1.00 speed, it's not going to be able to understand anything that I'm saying at the moment. As what's the scoreline looking like at the moment? 175 for 5. So it's been a good little partnership from these two. I think it might be even close to about 50 at the moment. So they've got that lead of New Zealand underneath 100. And, you know, they'll be looking to extend their presence here in this game by the end of the day's plays. That's a quality shot from Doric over the top for 4. And they're they're just hitting boundaries left, right and centre at the moment. And getting themselves back into this contest. Still 5 wickets in hand and only trailing by 69 runs now as Hetmeyer goes aerial and finds the cover boundary. Now we've just made a huge jump here in time because I don't think there was any boundaries for a long period as Hetmeyer once again finds a boundary. He's into the 90s. West Indies surpass the 250 mark or the 249 mark as this one's pulled and fine and all the way to the boundary from Doric. And they trail by just 23 right now, the West Indies. So huge session from them here. We've done it in super speed, accelerating it as Hetmeyer from 96 goes over the top all the way to the 100. A fantastic knock from him. 16 fours. That's 64 runs of that 100 have come from boundaries. And the West Indies could very well be on their way to securing a first innings lead. Not only by tomorrow, but by the end of tonight's session. They're only 2 behind as we see the final ball of the day. No, it's not the final ball of the day. We've got 3 balls left in the day. They're 1 run behind. Doric has brought up his 50 as well. This is going to be a dot, which sets us up for the final ball of the day. New Zealand with a 1 run lead at the moment. The West Indies 275 for 5. This has been a massive partnership. Can Santner provide a late breakthrough? Not to be, but also not to be for the West Indies. They don't get the lead that they might have been coveting by the end of the day's play, which maybe gives New Zealand a slight mind advantage there. But a 166 run partnership between Shimron Hetmeyer and Shane Doric has put the West Indies in the very strong position they are in at the moment. They are just 1 run behind, but they've got 2 really set batsmen at the crease and 5 wickets in hand. New Zealand, we expect them to bring the new ball up first thing tomorrow, as the 80th over has just been hit. Trent Boult and Mitchell Santner, the 2 wicket takers for the Kiwis. See you all tomorrow for day 3. Gee, this is a good test match. How good. Turning out to be a cracker.